Hi, my name is Dr. Marc Reynolds. I'm a voice teacher, performance coach, and stage director. Today I'm going to be reacting to Jessi J's performance of Killing Me Softly in China. The question of the day is, what makes Jessi J so charismatic? Comment down below. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Strumming my pain with his finger, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style, and so I came to see him and listen for a while. And there he was, this young boy, a stranger to my eyes, strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. I felt all flushed with fever, embarrassed by the crowd. I felt it found my letters and read each one out loud. I prayed that he would finish, but he just kept right on, strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my life with his words, killing me softly with his song. He played as if he knew me in all my dark despair, and then he looked right through me as if I wasn't there, and he just kept on playing clear and strong. His words, killing me softly.
She did a beautiful job with the singing. Even more so, she was so charming and reached out to the audience and really connected with them in such a personable way that it was just so fun to watch. I couldn't help but smile and enjoy what she was doing on so many levels. As a stage director and as a voice teacher and performance coach, there are 3 things that I'd like to discuss today. First is how wide she's opening her mouth here in front versus what vowel she's using versus the sound that it creates. Number 2 thing she's talking about is how she's using the stage and how she's engaging with the audience. Number 3 thing I want to talk to you about today is glottal onsets versus aspirate onsets. So first, how wide she's opening her mouth in the front. What I want you to pay attention to is that the richness and fullness of her sound doesn't necessarily relate to how wide she's opening her mouth here in the front. How much she's opening here in back does matter. Watch, you can see this jaw release in the back as she's singing.
He just kept on playing.
But in the front, it looks like she has to open her mouth wide, but it really is not so. When she says anything with an E sound in it, you'll notice that this mouth closes, the teeth come out, and that's because that's the right shape for an E vowel. That's the right amount of space for it to work efficiently and function well. An ah vowel, an o vowel can accommodate more space here in the front, but you'll notice we get this consistent sound even though the amount of space we have between this front part of our mouth is changing all over the place. I think that's huge. I get a lot of performers coming in who feel like to get louder, they have to open up the front of their mouth super wide. And what that does, in fact, is actually makes it harder for them to produce sound. It closes them down here in the back where we actually need it open. And it creates all kinds of stress and tension in their tongue and in their jaw. Not what we want. Does releasing that jaw open and getting it open in the back and a little more open in the front sometimes when we're singing louder help? Definitely. It enhances that overtone series. It gives us some more volume. But it's all about the balance of the shape in back versus the shape in front versus the vocal folds coming together in a proper balance of force of vocal fold and flow coming through it. This space in the front, remember, is more about the vowel and the proper size for each vowel. Pay attention here because she does a wonderful job at demonstrating how the proper size in front and the proper shape in back creates this nice, easy, balanced tone. We don't have to worry about yanking the front space of this open as wide as we can, as long as we can. Number 2 thing we want to talk about is her use of the stage and how she's connecting with the audience. She starts out on this chair, right? Okay. Then when we get to a big musical shift moment, she gives us some variety by standing up and going all the way back to where the piano guy is. It has to do with what she's singing about, so it's really fun and exciting. The audience eats it up because it's so fun.
He played as if he knew me in all my dark despair. And then he looked right through me as if I wasn't there.
It's so fun to watch. She's really charming in how she's engaging into storytelling here. So she's using the stage. She's not just staying put right next to the mic. She's not letting herself be limited by what she thinks the proper singer thing to do is. No, she's following the impulse. She has an impulse to go upstage and mess with this guy. Awesome. Then she comes back and pulls the focus back to herself. And she goes forward on the edge of the stage to really get close to the audience towards the end. Then the audience applauds. She sits down and then finishes out the rest of the song to kind of get this nice decrescendo in physicality as well as with what we're hearing with her voice. She does a beautiful job of using the entire stage to her advantage here. The other thing that I want to point out is how she's connecting with her audience. A lot of times as performers, the way we connect with our audience during a song is by being fully engaged in an imaginary world that we're creating in front of us that involves the text, that involves this character who's singing these words, who involves the mood of the music and the imagery that we're thinking about as we're performing. It doesn't include the audience. The audience is voyeuristic, meaning they get to look in on this experience that we're having in this imaginary world. This isn't what she does here. She does what we call breaking the fourth wall, which means if we imagine the performance space has four walls, when we have a voyeuristic audience, it's like the fourth wall, the wall that's between you and the audience, is transparent and they get a look through it. By breaking that fourth wall, we bring it down. The performer acknowledges that the audience is here. She's doing these little heart sign things to individual people.
I heard he had a style, and so I came to see him and listen for a while.
Like little waves, she's directly engaging with them. Is that more or less effective? Well, it depends on the song and what's wanting to be communicated. Here, this song allows for her to engage directly with the audience, and the audience eats it up. They love it. Does that mean we want every song where the person directly engages with the audience? Is that more or less powerful than the other? No, not necessarily. Some people, like myself, if I'm in an audition listening to someone and they start engaging with me directly, like a love song, and they're speaking these words straight to me, it makes me tremendously uncomfortable, and I don't want to watch it anymore. I've had colleagues who they love it. They love when people direct their words and what they're saying right at them. What I would suggest is if you, as the person saying these words, would actually say it to the audience and that person in the audience, go for it. If you wouldn't, and you're imagining a totally different scenario, then trust that the audience will be empathetic towards you. They will watch and live this imaginary moment with you if you're genuine and honest and sincere. The moment you do want to make sure you're engaging and connecting with your audience, though, on a face-to-face type of level and not a voyeuristic level, we really need to engage directly in between songs when they applaud. If we're talking to them and sharing an experience, if we're having a moment in between the music and the storytelling. Those are crucial moments that bond the audience with the performer. Does that mean we have to go on forever and talk forever? Definitely not. It can just be a moment, but those moments are really crucial because that lets the audience know that the performer is aware of them, likes them, wants them to be there, is appreciative of them supporting this art that they're making. Well, decide, is this song one where you want the audience to be a passive or voyeuristic type of audience? Is this a song where it would make sense to directly engage with the audience? And is this a moment in between songs where you could take advantage of directly connecting with the audience, even if it's a simple thank you, or just a bow to acknowledge how gracious they are to be there supporting your art making? What we do notice here with her, though, is she's chosen something right because her audience is loving it. They're eating it up. 10 points to Jessi J for making the right choice there. Third thing we want to talk about is aspirate onsets versus glottal onsets. Aspirate onsets are where we have the vocal folds and the air starts coming through them first, and then that pulls them together and they start vibrating. Glottal onsets are the exact opposite side of the continuum, where they're pressurized and pushing together first, and the pressure of the air builds up below them, and then finally pushes them apart, and then they come together and start to vibrate. In general, what we're wanting our home base to be as vocalists is what's called a balanced onset. It's right in between these two extremes, so that the vocal folds are coming together in the right balance as that air is starting to come through them. That creates the crisp, clean, unforced, natural sound that we love to hear most of the time. Then we can choose other times to color our voice with a more aspirate or more glottal sound. Are there times where we want a glottal sound? Yes, we do. We want a glottal onset sometimes when we're starting a word with a vowel that needs that little bit of extra pressure to enunciate and help us understand what that word is if we're really wanting to make something of it. Are there times where we want to put a little bit of pressure behind it? We hear it frequently in different pop songs in places where it's specifically emotional, where we feel this kind of longing pull. My opinion is I think we can get away with not pressurizing in that moment and still get the same effect. But is it going to kill you to glottalize it and go on that side of the spectrum here or there? No. Is the aspirate side going to kill you here or there? No. It's just using it at the proper time and with the proper tools. In general, though, the balanced onset is what we're shooting for. How do we get a balanced onset? That's a longer discussion than what I want to have right now on this video. Please find a trained voice teacher that can help you find that balanced onset. For right now, though, using that straw and the exercises that we've talked about in other places are really helpful tools to help you start finding that balanced onset and healthy level of phonation. Back to our question of the day. What makes Jessi J so charismatic? I'm not totally sure. If I had to locate a few identifying factors, one is obviously she's very lovely. That's helpful, but not the most important factor, I don't think. To me, what makes her so charismatic is that her energy is all about giving to the audience. She's reaching out. She's wanting to make them smile and laugh, wanting to give them attention, wanting to reel them in and share this art and storytelling with them. To me, that's what makes her so charismatic in this moment. Are there other things? I'm sure. Obviously, when she smiles and we see this upper tooth smile thing we've talked about in other videos, that's a subconscious connector. That's something that makes us feel connected to them, engaged, and is charismatic. Does that help? Definitely. But again, to me, it seems that she is so genuine in her wanting to reach out and share with her audience. You can't help but be drawn to her and her performance. I would love to hear what you think about what makes people charismatic, what makes certain performance charismatic, and especially in this case, Jessi J. If you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or just someone to talk through your ideas with, visit me at mrperformingartstudio.com and book a time. I look forward to working with you online.